Okay, so this is June 19, 2018. I'm Joanne Richards, and this is session 5 of Family Recovery Essentials. Great to be here again. This week, we're talking about coping, self-care, and living life with joy. Last week, we talked about guilt and shame and forgiveness. And I invite you to just recall that at the moment you're believing something, at the moment anyone is believing something, it's like impossible to just be that aware and shut it down and off. So there's thinking, we attach to it, we act on it, and that becomes our perceived reality. So when we're believing something that we're offended, we're threatened, we want, they should, that rules the world, and that becomes our world. So that's what we're all doing throughout our days. So in that, there's a real level playing field to forgive other people and to forgive ourselves and to use some tools to really question what is true, what am I believing here, and just with compassion to see, okay, yes, that's what I say and do. And now we have apologies and amends. And amends is, how do I make this right? And we can, if we can't give our amends to someone physically, to the person that they have harmed, we can give it to somebody else in their honor. And that cleans up our side of the street so that we're not holding on to that guilt and shame. Okay, so for all of this, it works. We're going to be talking about coping and living life with some joy. And it works unless you really refuse to create a plan and apply it, or you just get lazy, or you stay in fears. And by lazy, I mean staying in fear and not taking care of that, or complacent, like this is good enough, this is the way it is. I have a child who's addicted, so how happy am I going to be? That kind of thing. So let's start with some breathing. I invite you to just relax, be where you are, close your eyes, and just notice your breath. This won't coincide with your breathing, as you just listen, just be comfortable breathing. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. In, out. Breathing in, my breath goes deep. Breathing out, my breath goes slow. Deep, slow. Breathing in, I'm aware of my body. Breathing out, I calm my body. Aware of my body, calming my body. Breathing in, I'm aware of my mind. Breathing out, I calm my mind. Aware mind, calm mind. Breathing in, I know I am sitting and free. Breathing out, I sit peacefully. Sitting freely, sitting peacefully. Breathing in, I bring joy to my mind. Breathing out, I bring love to my heart. Joyful mind, loving heart. Breathing in, I take care of the present moment. Breathing out, there is wonder in this moment. Present moment, wonderful moment. Okay. So one way we find our freedom from our thoughts that we're believing is by exploring how critical we and judgment on paper. It's a safe place where the paper listens to our story, and then we bring it all to inquiry. But to prepare for the class, I asked you to write a list of qualities of someone that you admire. Again, you don't have to know them personally. Um, so, does anybody have those qualities? Liz, would you like to read some?
Sure. I admire that she's so playful with her children. I admire that she disciplines and gives the girls consequences. I admire that she sets boundaries. I admire that she takes time for herself. I admire that she makes time for her husband. I admire that she writes thank you notes.
Thank you.
Sure.
How about someone else?
I wrote that I admired that he was strong, that he was funny, he was patriotic, that he was loving, that family was important to him, and that he liked Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Thank you, Deborah. Lisa?
I wrote that he is funny, that he is caring, that he's hardworking, that he's firm yet understanding, and that he loves my son like his own.
Thank you. Barbara? You're on mute.
There. Okay, sorry. I admire that she is open-minded. She's very steady, aware of others, humble. She's a savvy businesswoman, and she sees the best in others.
Thank you. Okay, so I invite you now to read your list to you out loud as we listen to you. So I acknowledge and appreciate me because I am dot 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 dot. So let's say it's like because I like Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's like because I like the food that I choose, that kind of thing. So how does it apply? How does that quality, like I treat myself to foods that I enjoy, that kind of thing. So if you read your list out loud back to you and really take some time to absorb it, hear you and appreciate you and these same qualities that you will embody because you're seeing them in someone else. And we'll listen. Who's want to go first?
I did the opposite. I wrote things that I did not do that the person that I admire in the person, which is not the right way to do the homework. So I like beat up on myself about the things that I admire in someone, but I don't feel that I have the same qualities.
Okay, so this is a great exercise. So now can you slowly read it out loud and find at least one genuine example where you actually have embodied that quality?
I did play with my children and I do play with my grandchildren, so I admire that I love to play with my children.
Yeah, feel that. Yep. And will you continue with your list?
I admire that she takes time for herself. I admire when I do take the time to take time for myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fun. Um, but I don't feel that I discipline or set boundaries as well as she does. So I was having trouble with those.
And do you discipline and do you set some boundaries?
I'm not so great at either one.
Have you ever?
I'm not that much of a disciplinarian. I'm more of a softie. I'll push over a little bit. It's probably very bad.
Can you, can you, can you find where throughout your parenting you have actually disciplined? We're not talking punishment or like, oh, but where you have discipled your children?
Yes. I mean, I was always big on telling the truth. You know, that was always a big thing. Like, I'm not going to get mad at you, but honesty is really important in this household. So that was always a big thing in my household that I would talk to the children about. And manners, things like that, kind of disciplining. You know, please look people in the eye, give a nice firm handshake, say hello. You know, those are always been important things.
Yeah, can you own that?
Yes, I feel that I was good at that.
Yes, and that is actually a boundary for you. We are honest. That's my boundary. I am honest. I require honesty. That's how we live here in my home. That's my boundary. That's how I feel safe.
I like that.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah. Can you own those qualities in you?
Yes.
Yeah. You see how it's not so easy, like to acknowledge these things about ourselves, but they're
It's
there.
hard. It is so hard. That's what I was talking to Deborah about today. It is so hard to sometimes dig that deep.
Yep. Did you have another one? Another quality?
I had that I admire that she makes time for her husband.
Who do you take time for?
You know, I sometimes beat myself up about it, but I guess I do take time for my partner. I do take time for him. You know, when you think of it, I mean,
And if you don't have a partner, it's like I take time for me as my own partner.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good stuff. Thank you.
And thank yourself for doing, for having these qualities and acknowledging them. And so I invite you to find more examples of each of those qualities for you. Get a list going.
Right.
Remember who you are. How about you, Deborah? Can you read those qualities back to you? I acknowledge me. I thank me because I am.
Well, I tried, but it's hard right now.
Yeah, so for that reason, I invite you just to read it back to you.
You mean the ones I wrote about the person that I admired?
Yeah. So I acknowledge that I am, that I.
Well, I do think I'm strong.
Mhm.
And I try to be loving.
Mhm.
So it was a grandparent. I try to be a good grandparent.
Mhm.
I had good grandparents.
Mhm. What other qualities did you write out?
The just being funny.
Mhm.
You know, I think a sense of humor is important.
Mhm. Can you find where you're funny?
I try to be funny. I don't know if everybody else thinks I'm funny.
Let your funny flag fly.
I do try. It's just kind of my go-to.
What else do you have there?
Patriotic and just very loving, set good boundaries. We always knew where he stood. You know, there was no, very firm.
Mm.
So I guess I need to work on that.
Can you acknowledge that you do have some solid boundaries, though?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Again, we're not trying to be perfect, but to acknowledge that the qualities we see in somebody else, we actually do embody, and to honor that in ourselves. Because
Yeah.
it's really easy to be critical of ourselves.
Yeah, I'm really myself.
So hold on to these lists, value them.
Yeah.
Lisa, would you like to try? Read your list. I acknowledge that I am. And if you can hear me, you're on mute.
Sorry.
Oh, there you
I
go.
wrote that I can acknowledge that I am caring, that I am hardworking, that I love my son.
Mm.
I'm not so sure about the firm yet understanding. I'm working on that one.
Where can you find that you have been firm and understanding?
I mean, I feel like the firmest I ever was when I told my son he had to go to rehab or he had to move out. That was like the one time I was finally firm in following through with what I said. But that's like the only time.
There are probably others, but that's a good one. That's a good one. And understanding? Can you find that?
Yeah, I believe that like in that situation I was extremely understanding of how scary and strong he had to be to make the choice that he made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so if you're getting, without being overly critical, if you're getting the sense like, oh, that's an area I could work on, great. But without the criticism. And also to find more examples of these qualities in you. Otherwise, it would be almost impossible to see them in somebody else. They're familiar to you because they're in you. Barbara, how about your list?
Okay, so I acknowledge that I am loving and open-minded, aware of others, and it's interesting, the sees the best in others, like this woman that I really admire. We have all these business meetings and she's really positive about all the people, but I know that right now at this stage with my son, I don't see the best. I'm looking for the worst. So that's a stretch. I'm gonna have to, I don't know, I want to get back to that sort of naivete or open-mindedness or something, just to see the best in others. And also she's very steady. I used to be steady. I want to be back to being steady. I've sort of knocked off my train track. But steady is something that I admire, and I want to reclaim that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So one thing that you could do is take these qualities and write a little love letter to yourself. I love you because you tried this, you keep persevering, you're so aware, you are find these qualities, find examples, more examples than you shared tonight, so that when you might slip or not believe it so much, you've got a love letter. You've got the qualities that you definitely have in you, and prove it to yourself. Gift yourself with more examples of this. It's there. And if you can't find it, if you can't find these examples, ask a trusted, loving person in your life to give you more. Because, you know, life throws us curveballs, right? And we can hear some really hurtful things from our children in the right circumstances. And this list will be really good to remember when it might look differently to us. And the part that you said, it's hard to find the qualities in our children, I invite you to also get a list of the qualities that you really do see in your child, that you know they're there. Maybe they're under the layer of addiction, but their true essence is there. And what is that? What are the qualities that they embody? That's who they are. And so when you doubt that, read it. It's like, I love my son because he is. And you will have a long list. And you will remember.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because it gets dicey, right? We start to criticize ourselves, and then we find it in them too.
Yeah.
Right.
So these lists become like, keep it with your gratitude journal and have it on hand. So that can be some of your homework this week. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I also invite you to read it out loud, so there's a witness. The one to yourself, like read it out loud. At the very least, read it out loud to yourself. And then slowly and really accept it and absorb it. Okay. So in your slides, you'll see lots of ideas. I think I gave it in a handout too. Mind, body, spirit approach to self-care. Lots of ideas that you can integrate into your life. Activities for the mind, activities for the body, activities for the spirit. Some of them, hopefully you're already practicing, like the gratitude. Mindfulness. Okay, so another thing, I don't know if I said in the beginning of the course, but just to be aware that really what you put in your body and on your body, and your environment, the people you associate with, like your inner circle, that affects your body and your mind, and it will treat you that way back. So just really, be careful of sugar and processed foods, and mood-altering substances, because that really does affect the mind. The gut is said to be the second brain, and the gut feeds our brain, actually. So what we put into our body will affect our ability to process our mind. So I know for me, I really, really have to work on that, because I can get way off track. I'm not so bad with sugar, but I can just start eating a lot of carbs and not enough water. I live in Arizona, for goodness sake. It's not good to be so dehydrated. Okay, so we're going to talk about self-care. Seems a little out of line. So possible thoughts that can derail us. Oh, I don't really have time to do that. I don't have time to do the conscious breathing, YouTube, meditation. I can't do that. I don't know how. I don't have enough energy. It's wrong to be happy when they're not, when they're struggling. If I'm happy, they'll think I don't love them. It's impossible to happy when they're not happy. Sound familiar?
Very,
Yeah.
very.
So, can you identify any other thoughts that would derail you from self-care, from choosing joy?
Even if I'm sleeping, I feel guilty.
Guilt's a big one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote that I just shouldn't spend the money, or there's other more important things to do right now.
I shouldn't spend money on myself.
Yeah, I'm like really bad about that.
Yeah, me too.
There's other things more important than me.
Sure, I guess that's the way that I see it sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other thoughts?
Mine is about, a lot of mine about, my resistance is about slowing down. I think I can't slow down because then I'll just implode or something. It's just too
Yeah,
much. I have to
that's
keep
true.
going fast to kind of not feel this stuff. So it's really hard to sit down and meditate these days.
Or to relax. Just
So,
stay.
like, if I slow down,
Uh,
Like
don't
you
know.
have too much time to think.
That's kind of it. It's kind of like, even like with reading a book, like it's a coping thing, just moving fast or staring at the TV.
Yes.
Otherwise, like being quiet, meditating, or reading a book or something is just too scary. Because then,
so if I slow down, it will hurt.
sorry, what?
It will hurt.
Maybe if I slow down, I'll get scared.
Yeah.
More scared than I already am. I'm a big fear person.
So it's too scary to slow down.
Yeah, and be quiet. That's kind of my excuse right now.
Okay. And you all are agreeing with that one?
I am.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. All right. Let's do some of the work on this. So it's too scary to slow down. Is that true?
Oh,
Yes.
Or let's do this. It's too scary to be quiet.
Yeah.
Be quiet or slow down. Which one works for you guys?
Slow down.
they're both fine.
Slow down. Okay. It's too scary to slow down. Is that true?
That's not scary for me.
Brave.
What about being quiet with your thoughts? Is that too scary?
That's scarier for me.
Okay. Can slowing down mean that? Either one?
It can.
Yeah.
Can you absolutely know it's true that if you slow down, it's too scary?
No.
So when you believe that thought, how do you react? What
Move
happens?
faster.
Well, you avoid it.
Right.
You
Right.
avoid slowing down, so I think you're going to like overdrive. You're always
Yeah.
moving until you collapse.
Exactly. You go into overdrive. That's a good word. Yeah.
And how do you live your life in overdrive? What happens to your life and relationships when you're believing the thought, it's too scary to slow down, so I'm in overdrive?
Oh, I'm not present.
Yeah, not available.
I get a lot done, but I'm not with people I care about.
So what does it cost you to believe the thought it's too scary?
You missed out on living in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens when you miss out? How does that feel?
You have regrets.
And also, you're not at peace because it's not real. Where you are isn't right where you are.
And how do you treat your thoughts and these? How do you treat life? How do you treat yourself and all your thoughts when you're believing the thought it's just too scary to slow down and be quiet?
Oh, I'm so hard on myself.
How do you treat your thoughts? when you believe. I diminish, like my thoughts, my scary thoughts, I'm not allowed to think of them. So I disrespect my scary thoughts.
And
I push them away.
does all this bring you peace or stress? To push them away.
Stress.
Peace.
Peace, yeah.
Kind of like it's a coping thing, but it must be.
Are you really having peace? Are
No,
those thoughts just going away?
they're
Yeah.
down. No,
So is that working? Is the thought actually working? Are you actually getting the payoff of peace?
no. I'm getting a lot of good TV in though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great as long as there's a little time for both. Balance. Okay, so imagine you're having some downtime and these thoughts come in and your mind is racing, or you feel really preoccupied, nervous. Who would you be without the thought, it's too scary to slow down and be quiet with these thoughts?
I would be more relaxed.
How do you see yourself responding when this happens in that situation without the thought, it's too scary to slow down and be quiet?
I mean, calm, right? Calm.
I'd be like in my life.
How do you treat these thoughts when they come without the thought, it's too scary to be quiet with them?
How do I?
Well, the thoughts are what gets us in trouble. So we have to talk our way through the thoughts, right? And talk to ourselves like, is this true? How do we feel? Like, the thoughts are what can drive you crazy because you make up stories in your mind.
So without the thought that they're scary, how do you live your life and treat the thoughts?
Because you have to deal with the thoughts.
Or you could just know they're just thoughts.
What's that?
Because like what Liz was saying, like we could just know they're just thoughts, and like we
Right,
just,
but they're not real necessarily.
yeah.
Oh, you hear that? They're not real.
They're not real. They're just thoughts.
We don't know if they're real. Wow, that was big.
Well, they're not real.
Yeah.
That is big. So they're not real. They're just thoughts.
So we're
They're
scared.
just thoughts.
We're too scared to slow down because of something not real. That's going to scare us. That's not real.
So maybe acknowledge the thought and then let it go.
Or question it.
Oh my
A
God.
thought is a thought.
our
A
life-
thought is a thought. There's nothing about a thought. It's like pen, computer mouse, cup. A thought is just a thought until you believe it.
I believe my thoughts.
So when these scary thoughts come in, they're not scary thoughts. What scares you is attaching to the images and the beliefs that come with attaching and believing to these thoughts.
Yeah.
So notice, who would I be without the thought, it's too scary to slow down? I'm someone who's realizing I am scaring myself. I'm imagining. I know I have tools. So I raise my awareness to that. Maybe I breathe. Maybe I get some paper. Maybe I call someone. Hey, ask me the 4 questions.
That's what I do. I call someone.
But I raise my awareness that I am scaring myself. And I'm not quite sure if what I'm believing is absolutely true. Whose business am I in? I'm breathing. I'm taking some time. I go for a walk. Maybe I turn on the TV. But I make an appointment with myself to take care of this stuff because I am the one scaring me. And my thoughts become something not so scary, but something to question. Am I arguing with reality? It is what it is, now what? I'm in a now what frame of mind. I become someone who's willing to take a look at this fear and be moved because of it to clarity and maybe something that's proactive, or to a surrender to just not knowing, which is how I've been operating on life my whole life. Right? How much have we known? Not much.
Not much.
I mean, when we really think about it.
Well, that's weird because with intuition, like I've always thought I had such a good intuition about people, but in one sense, maybe I'm just making stuff up too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, there goes that.
Well, intuition is wonderful, and then it changes,
Yeah.
and then it changes, and then it changes,
Yeah.
and then it changes. Because there is that intuitive sense.
Sorry.
So it's like, okay, yeah, this is what I think I know today. So I act on what I think I know, and then it changes. Or it gets enhanced, or it expands, or it's proved wrong, or who knows. So that's the not knowing. So it's not too scary to slow down and be quiet. How can that be true?
How can that be true? Just
Yeah. It is not too scary to slow
That's-
down. Be
well,
quiet.
because it doesn't have to be.
Well, how is it really not too scary?
Just not. Because it's just because what we said, it's just thoughts. We're scaring ourselves. I'm scaring myself. So it's really not too scary to slow down because I'm just scaring myself.
Yeah, well, whether you slow down or whether you speed up, you're still the one scaring yourself.
Right.
What's the difference? Fast or
Nothing.
slow, what's the difference?
Ooh, that's like a false, like just, yeah, that's very interesting. Nothing. There's no difference. It could be either way. I could be scaring myself if I go fast. I just chose that one because it made sense.
And can you imagine you're going fast and then the thought comes in, it's like,
Oh, yeah. That.
I'm still scared and I'm going fast.
I can work with that. Yeah, sure.
Fast or slow, I'm the one attaching to these thoughts.
Wow.
How about another example? It is not too scary to slow down and be quiet with my thoughts. Is this scary?
No.
What we're doing?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's scary, but it's definitely challenging.
It's challenging. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good distinction. Is
Yeah.
it scary or is it just different?
Different. Not what we're used to doing.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out of the comfort zone.
Yeah. The mind, the ego loves comfort zone. That's not where we grow.
And this brings us into all these vast unknowns and things, and it's interesting. Like it's interesting and challenging. It's not scary. There's nothing scary. It's scarier to have a vision of my son, blue in my head than this is great compared to this is good because we're learning.
And even that image, is it over? Or are you scaring yourself reliving an image?
What was the first part? Is it over, you said?
Is it over?
I'm not
Might
sure.
be.
My brother died once, and I scared myself
Oh, I see.
over 10 years reliving images in my mind.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
He only died once.
Right. So I'm just scaring myself over and over with all of the things I've seen in life that I can use.
Yes. In fact, I just woke up last night, or maybe it was this morning, and for some reason, I don't know, I had an image of my brother's death, and I scared myself.
Mm.
And so that awareness, it's like, okay, all right, yep, what's happening? I'm scaring myself. And that I immediately said, wow, yep, okay. And it became not so scary. So another example, it's not too scary to slow down and be quiet with your thoughts. You can use your 5 senses to get very present. It's like, okay, I don't really want to stay in that image, so I sunk into my mattress, feeling where my body hit the mattress. Where exactly is there more pressure? Is it on my calf? Is it my arm? Where is my body hitting the mattress? What's the temperature in the room? What sounds am I hearing? Taking a body scan up, from my toes up to my head, sinking into the mattress, into the present moment. I wasn't thinking of those images anymore. It's so present. So using the 5 senses, getting so present,
That's really good.
takes care of what we think is scary. And maybe it is scary for a minute, but it's not scary when we do these other things. Oh, wow, it just came to me. It's not scary. Whose business am I in? I'm in my ego's business.
Oh, that darn business.
Right?
That was hard.
Wow, is that a place where I want to feed? No.
Mm-mm.
It's too scary to speed up. It's too scary to avoid all of these thoughts. How is that true?
I guess if you're avoiding them, then you're not really dealing with them. So they're going to reoccur, and you're just going to keep having them over and over because you're painting a picture of it in your mind, right?
How does that feel in your body saying that example?
I feel like I'm a genius.
And you are. Put that on your list of admirable qualities.
It was a light bulb moment.
Get that down. When you said that, Liz, I'm like, ouch, ouch. They're just going to keep showing up over and over and over.
just like when we worry about our children relapsing or their bad behavior that we've lived through, or looking at them when they look horrible, they've got circles under their eyes, and you're like, oh my God, I know they're messed up. Like, and so you have those images, and then we relive them, and we relive them, and we relive them. And then as soon as we feel comfortable, maybe, and then all of a sudden your worry, your fear sets in, and you're like, but they're gonna go back to that. What if they go back to that? And then you, what if? And then you're worried about it all the time. Like, it's no good because it just reoccurs all the time. Then you're
Yeah,
not dealing
keep
with
re-
So who's creating this roller coaster?
me.
Oh,
Yeah.
we are.
Look what we do to ourselves.
oh,
Drive ourselves crazy.
They're just thoughts until we feed them, until we don't sit with them and actually hold them like a little baby who is screaming for attention, who wants to be held and hugged and cared for, and be told, oh, honey, it's just your imagination. Let's talk about it. Tell me about it. That's what these beliefs are doing. They're screaming for attention, or we scare ourselves. And it hurts. It really, really hurts to see our children that way, because our truest nature of love knows that is not who they are. We know that.
Right.
Our deepest self knows that we are scaring ourselves by seeing images of our children not in their truest nature either. That's not who they are.
That's what probably adds to the fear, because inside of us we know that that's not who they are, so we have this internal battle with that as well, our deepest selves and then what's right in front of us.
Yes.
Very
So
interesting.
it's not to say it's not going to happen, but just notice when it does, which is why you want to have your list of qualities of your child around.
Yeah.
No, my child is the light of God. My child is healthy, clean, and shining bright. My child is God's child. My child is eternal. My child is brilliant, creative, funny, thoughtful, kind, willing, courageous. My child is imperfect. I love him that way. I love that I get to love him that way. My child is my greatest teacher. I've had such wonderful memories of my child. Now what images do you see?
much better.
All the happy memories.
Yes. So that's another thing. Like, get a list of happy memories to reread when we forget. Because
Instead of
we're going.
rehashing, right? We're always, or I'm always rehashing all the ugly things, all the
Yeah.
things I don't want to happen, all the things that, I allow to scare me, instead of thinking about cherishing all those happy memories, all those things that you
Yes.
did do that were great, that were, fun, that a house full of love, and all the good things, the funny things.
Yes. Yes, because we do have parts in our brain, I don't know why, but it's wired to focus on negative. And we're actually socialized to focus on negative. And in one of our first sessions, it's like, what language are we speaking? Well, what language are we using to describe our children? We're telling the horror stories of them over and over and over. No. Ow. How's your child? He's He is persevering, man. He's figuring it out. He could be homeless on the street using drugs. He is figuring it out. That's how he's figuring it out. It's just as true. How's my child? I love him. Wow, he is so safe in my heart. Always. How's your kid? That's how I want my child, safe in my heart and my mind. But I'm going to have to do some work to get there. I'm going to have to take care of my fears. I'm going to have to change my language. I'm going to have to remind myself. Change this mind. Remind. And remember back together with love and my child. It's going to take some effort. Otherwise, there's an immediate disconnect, and that's what's hurting us. And that's what takes us away from our self-care, because we get scared. So when we do that and we practice self-care, we're able to be with our child, and help them, and support them, and love them, and have a totally different energy. Okay. So what's it going to cost you if you don't take care of you?
Your health.
Yep.
Sanity.
Yes. Is it worth sacrificing all that?
Mm-mm.
So what do you have if you do take the time and make the effort of self-care? What do you have?
Your health and your sanity.
And if you have your health and your sanity, what do you get to give to your child?
A healthy person and a sane person.
Which one do you think they need?
Both.
Yeah.
Especially sane, but healthy would be good too.
Mhm. If you had to choose between a healthy body or a healthy mind, which would you choose?
A healthy mind.
Probably. Although it would be horrible to have a really healthy mind and a really unhealthy body.
Yeah, I'm stuck on that.
Yeah, it's a tough one because can you imagine your body's all failing and your brain's so smart that it knows it and you know how horrible it is? Oh, I don't know. There's a kind of bliss in Alzheimer's Alzheimer's
They're happy.
way. I mean, it's sad, but at least you don't know.
Yeah. But if your mind was really, really clear, you'd see your body in a different way. You'd see pain in a different way. You'd have to be really, really clear. There was a woman who was doing work, and she was blinded in young adulthood. And she did the work, and Katie asked her, "So are you blind?" She's like, "Hell no, I'm not blind." She was seeing her grandchildren and with her imagination, with her touch, her sense of smell. That's how she saw. And she was seeing a beautiful world. There was no way she was ever going to say she was blind.
I like that.
Mm.
So perception of our mind is ruling our reality. A clear mind has a clearer, kinder reality. Much, much kinder. Okay, so I'd like to write a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. If you have some paper and pen. So just we're going to judge our children. So whatever's up and current, Um, like maybe it's a relapse, maybe it's their sanity, maybe it's their physical health, maybe it's their mood, maybe it's their ability to cope. Actually, we kind of all have that going, right? Their ability to cope.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
All right, why don't we do that? So I'm doubtful or I'm scared, whatever emotion you have, because my son doesn't know how to cope very well enough.
Thank you so much, because I keep going back to the same thoughts when I'm doing these exercises. So this is brand new. So thank you.
Mm.
Good. I was locked.
So I'm worried because my son doesn't know how to cope well enough. He's depressed, he's detoxing, he got fired, he's having fights with his girlfriend, he hates his job. We all have it. So he doesn't know how to cope well enough. Statement number 2, what do you want instead of what's happening right now? Well, I want my son to find a new job so that he's coping better.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, that wouldn't hurt.
And I want him to reach out for help.
Yes.
Okay, statement number 3. This is the advice, really good advice you're going to give to your son so that he copes well. He should what? And break it down so that it's really clear steps how he's going to cope in this situation. Well, I'm just coming up with he should get a mentor, get a new job, change his attitude, look for the good in his job, look for the good, drop his expectations.
It's a good one.
And then he'll be coping better. Okay, statement number 4, for you to be happy and not worry about him coping, what do you need from him? How could he stop your worrying? I need him to promise he'll take care of this. Take care of his mood. Take care of his thinking. I need him to tell me exactly what he's doing to cope. To cope well. I need him to ask me for and follow my advice.
Mhm.
Okay, in statement number 5, he's not coping well enough. Judge him. What do you really think of him? He's complacent, stubborn, misguided, taking risks. Confused. So he doesn't cope well enough. What don't you ever want to experience about that again? I don't want to experience fear again with him, about him. I don't want to worry about him.
Doubts.
I don't want to doubt him. Yeah. Okay, so for homework, I definitely want you to take some of these thoughts to inquiry. Whether you do it with each other and someone else, I want you to take this worksheet and get through it.
Okay.
Okay? Either self-facilitate, ask someone to facilitate you, ask your homework partner to facilitate you, get through the worksheet, okay? And I'm going to talk out the turnaround for statement number 5 and 6. And I'm going to read my worksheet back to me. But that is not to exclude doing inquiry on these thoughts, because I don't want to miss the opportunity for my personal freedom and peace. So I will read it and ask you to read it back to yourself tonight, but not replacing inquiry. It's not going to work. Okay, so I'm worried about me because I don't cope well enough. Can I find that? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. There are times that I just will eat my emotions away, or I'll binge on Netflix for 4 hours. I know I'm avoiding, but I'll do it. It's really not coping well enough. I want me to find a new job. Yeah, when I do that, I want me to find a new job of taking my thoughts to inquiry, or going for a walk, or, scribbling, and or, getting on the helpline, or reaching out for some help, or reading something inspiring. I want me to find a new job than the job of eating and Netflix. I want me to reach out for help. Yes. Yes. I should get a mentor. That's interesting. I have been thinking of that. That's interesting. I should get a new job. Yeah. And call it more of me and doing what I know helps me to cope. I should change my attitude. Yep. I should look for the good. Maybe I need to do my gratitude 2 or 3 times a day, not just one. I should drop my expectations. If I could, I would. Sometimes I can't. But yes, that's good advice.
That's
So
just so crazy.
Yeah. Right.
Every single one
Right.
applies to me.
Right.
And me too.
I need me to promise me that I will take care of my thinking. Okay, I'm promising me. I need me to tell me exactly what I'm doing to cope well. So I need to get like a big list and put it in different parts of my house to remind me what I'm going to do, because I just promised me I'm going to take care of this. I need me to ask me what my advice is and to follow it. Because how in the world am I expecting my son to do what I'm not even doing? And I expect my son to cope well. I don't struggle like he does. I know struggle, but I'm not facing drug addiction every single day. So now my compassion for him is just enormous. And my admiration that he's coping as best as he is under the circumstances is amazing, which leads me to really acknowledge it. Or just support him where he's at, because I get it. I get how difficult it is to cope well, which makes me want to support him as best I can, clearly, calmly, skillfully. There's too much at risk. I don't want to add to it. Anyone else want to read their worksheet out loud back to you?
I'll read mine. I don't know if I got it all, but I tried. So, like the turnaround, that's what you want us to read?
You just read your worksheet back as if you're writing it and reading it to you. Yeah.
I am scared because I don't know how to cope well enough.
Mm.
I want to have peace. I want to seek help. I want to confront my issues.
So it's I want me to seek help. I want me to confront my issues.
So change it to need.
I want me.
I got you.
I want me to do these things.
I should find a therapist or a sponsor I can talk to. I should look at all the blessings around me. I should realize that this wasn't caused overnight and it won't go away overnight. I need to recognize how bad my thinking is. I need to be proactive and not reactive. I need to follow my advice or call someone else. I'm overreacting. I expect to not have to work on recovery. I look for excuses and blame others. Is that the end of it?
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. So for your number 5 statement, it's not to slap you. It's not to be critical. It's just to raise your awareness that in certain situations you can get triggered and show up that way. And so again, it's an invitation to just be aware of it and take care of it. So mine is I'm complacent. Sometimes I am. I can find that. It's true. There's no criticism in that. It's just true. You know, if I'm honest and I'm out of lying and pretending and hiding, what's there to hide? Yes. Sometimes I'm complacent. I'm stubborn. Yes. And I can be stubborn about being complacent and stubborn about not coping well and turning on Netflix for 4 hours. I'm misguided oftentimes by my beliefs, my fears. I'm misguided. I'm taking risks. I'm taking risks with my own health, my own recovery, my own sobriety by being complacent. It's a slippery slope. And I'm confused. That's a pretty steady thoughts. Yes, and I'm confused about my son when I see him in less than his highest light. I am confused. I'm confused when I disconnect. I am very confused then. The turnaround for statement 6 is we say out loud, I'm willing to experience fear about my son again. I'm willing to doubt him. I'm willing to worry about him. And then we look for the how it can be of purpose or awakening, enlightenment, service to me, to others, and the world. I look forward to doubting my son. Or I look forward to the thoughts of doubt about my son. How can that be of service to anyone? And how can it be of service to me? I look forward to doubting my son.
It doesn't sound like it would be of service.
Mm-mm.
There is service to all of us. In a friendly universe, God is good, God is love. How can love show up even in the doubt? I look forward to doubting my son.
Well, if we turned it all the way around, like I look forward, dude, no, I lost it. Like doubting the bad stuff. Like I look forward to believing in him. If we sort of confusing.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is I look forward to doubting him so that I can shift it into believing in him.
But I'd have to be doubting other things.
I'd have to doubt first to have that awareness, to deliberately shift myself into thoughts of believing.
Well, that one doesn't feel so good.
Okay. So I look forward to doubting my son.
I like that one, Barbara.
Thank you.
I do too.
Okay.
Because the doubt's going to remind me of things that I can, at least like pretend to believe in my son. Or find ways to believe in my son. You know
Find
what?
ways. That's a good one. Find ways.
Find ways.
Yeah.
I believe my son is capable. I believe my son's done it before. He can do it again. I believe my son knows how to look for support if or when he wants it. I believe that support is available if and when he wants it.
So I look forward to doubting my son so then I can be reminded of all of his capabilities, because you have to go through the desert of doubt before all the good stuff comes up. So in a way, yeah, because if we have the larger view,
Well, couldn't you say I look forward to doubting my son so he could prove me wrong?
Yeah. And is it possible that he'll prove you wrong?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, like that. Wow, that was right.
It's happened a lot.
Yeah. Wow, that's a good one. That's humbling, right? He can prove me wrong.
yeah.
I look forward to doubting my son. How else am I going to practice this stuff?
Mm.
How else?
That's true.
How else am I going to keep choosing to believe in my son and make that my go-to way? I need practice with this. I really do. And I look forward to doubting my son because I also need practice reaching out for help. We don't do this alone. So by me doubting my son, I actually dive deeper into my recovery. A good reminder. It's a good reminder that I'm relapsing. I'm slipping. My doubt is the invitation to not be complacent and to take a look at my ways of coping. How do I want to show up? I want to show up clear, calm, and skillful with my child. And I have a whole worksheet on what that's going to look like. I just said for me to be happy, I need my child to do all these things. I need me to do all these things. And doubt is going to remind me that I'm not, or that I could strengthen it, or just keep practicing. Because I do know there are some things that I'm not going to know, but this I know. This stuff I know. I just wrote it. It just showed me the way. Now it's to walk that way. And I'm willing to doubt my son. Maybe that's going to be a good laugh for both of us. You know what? You just proved me wrong. Silly me. Wow. Or it gives me an opportunity to really acknowledge his effort. I know this is hard for you. I really admire what you're putting into your life, into your efforts. I know it's been hard for you. So you have a worksheet that really spells out what you need to do, right? You do it or not, our children do it or not, we're same. We're on the same playing field. But there's very, very good research to show that when we do it, we clear the way for them to do it. At the very least, we get our sanity back, our peace, and we show them the way so that we can meet them where they are. So until this is lived, until we're actually doing this stuff, this has no power at all. We're just having conversation about thoughts that aren't real until we let it. Okay, so when, how, where do you have time to do this stuff? How can you actually do this? And find examples that you really do know how. You know how to slow down and be quiet with yourself. You do know how. You do know how to take care of you. Don't believe your thoughts. Just get out of your own way. So I invite you to take this in. If your happiness depends on your children being happy, that makes them your hostages. So stay out of their business and stop using them for your happiness and be your own happiness. And that way, you're the teacher for your children, someone who knows how to live a happy life. How would that feel for you to actually give that to your child and take the pressure off of them?
Good.
Yeah. Okay, so in your curriculum, there's a whole list of strengths, different areas of strengths. So I invite you to just take a look at them. There's like 20 something, 20, 19. And pick out your top 5 and what that looks like for you, and just play to those things. When you say, oh, I'm not really so good at that, I need to work on that. Okay, that's fine. Play to your strengths. So if I'm open-minded, I'm going to keep noticing, how do I show up open-minded in the day? If I'm creative, how do I show up creative in this situation? That's my strength. How do I use my strengths? When we build upon our strengths, we are in our full glory. We are living out our God-given gifts. So our strengths become even more prominent. They're natural to us. We're living authentically. We're shining. The weaknesses, maybe they get taken care of in the process, or we just have more energy to take care of them. But it's playing to your strengths. Don't worry so much about the weakness. Identify your strengths. And if you're really kind of struggling with your purpose, or what do I like to do in life kind of thing, this is a great find your passion. It's there's a great book, Passion Test, and it's just fabulous for really identifying, like, oh, what direction do I want to take my life in? What am I doing here? So that's something. Here's the book, The Passion Test. Okay, so your homework is to continue to practice daily breathing and daily gratitude. Do inquiry on at least one thought and identify the living turnarounds, which you kind of did when you read the worksheet back to yourself, and really apply this. So what am I going to do for my living turnaround? I mean, I have done it, but I'm really going to say, you know, I promise myself to do inquiry every single day. And I'd love to say I promise myself that I'm not going to watch Netflix, but I'm going to decrease my Netflix every day or weekly. Maybe I don't watch it every day. But I'm going to decrease it and eat better. Because this week I've been off. So I'm really going to promise myself and hold myself accountable to that. Otherwise, I'm going to hurt me. Like, I know I'm lying to myself, you know? And that my thing was get a new job. That's going to be my new job. Okay, so when some things go wrong, take a moment to be thankful for the many more things that are still going right. What's going right for you? What's right in you? What's right in your child? Remember those list of qualities. You have a love letter to write to yourself. You have a list of wonderful qualities about your child. Okay, so what are you taking away tonight from this class or your experience of you, life? What are you taking away to move into the week?
That I'm important.
Yes. Yeah. I think it was like you said the other things are more important than me. Like the other things are less important than you. How is that true?
Well, if you make everything else more important than you, then when you need to show up, you're not going to be able to be there.
Yeah. And especially when we're not accustomed to making ourselves important, it's really going to take some a shift in perspective and effort.
Yeah,
That's
that's
beautiful,
right.
Lisa. Nothing is more important than you. Deborah, what are you taking from the way?
The same. To try to worry less. Take care of myself.
Yeah, so I invite you to just be with your worry and sink into the present moment wherever you are, because you've got something going on. So it's, you know, for me, it hurts to tell myself not to worry when I actually am, but to take care of the worry,
Yeah.
to be with it, to welcome it, and take care of it in the present moment. Those five senses: breathing, noticing, using the tool. Yeah, the worry will take care of itself in that way. It does shift. I think you found it to be true for you. Thank you.
I'm taking away thoughts have no power over me.
Yes,
Mm.
yes, nice. Barbara?
Yeah, my takeaway were many, but the main one was just this sudden awareness that that I'm just scaring myself and it's thoughts, and it doesn't have to be slowing down or moving fast. It's just this thing that I do to myself, and the thoughts are just thoughts. So I'm going to have to look from that perspective and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh, look at that. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
hmm Being the observer even of our thoughts. Like right before that moment of belief, or as we believe, look at what I'm believing.
Mm.
So next session is not number 7, it's number 6. We're going to start looking at communication and really diving into that. So as we move forward, I really, 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 really encourage you to start to get your calming practice going, breathing. It really, all of this builds into the next session and the communication over the next few sessions. That calming practice is essential to communicate more effectively, and questioning through your fears is really essential to show up able to communicate when the going gets rough. Okay, so I know thrown a lot at you, but you know, just do what you can and enjoy it. You don't have to do all of it, just what feels right for you. Okay? And please reach out if you can't meet with your homework partner after you've tried your best. Reach out and we'll figure something out, okay? Because we're getting really into the nitty-gritty now. This is where applying this stuff is really going to make the shifts. Okay? Any questions or comments? All right. Much love to you all. Wishing
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.